Sahana Bhavatu Sahano Bhunaktu Sahaviryam Karavavai Tejasvina Vaditamastu Mavidvishavai. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. May the Divine Being look over us lovingly as a mother and father. May the Divine Being support and nourish us as a mother
and father.
May we have the strength and skill to study together the art of spirituality. May no misunderstandings arise amongst us. Om, peace, peace, peace be unto us and to all beloved beings everywhere. So, namaste and welcome, all you near and dear. We are, of course, studying the life of Holy Mother, as told in Swami Chaitanananda's book, Sri Sarada Devi, Her Divine Play. We're in the chapter and subhead of Mother as a Correspondent. So we're reading her letters. Now, Swami Paramananda had a niece. I think her name was Dayamata, it might have been Divyamata. But in any case, that's who the mother is writing to here. And she's writing from Madras, now Chennai. And it says, date unknown. My sweet daughter, I am glad to receive your letters dated January 17th and February 9th. The report of the work of both Washington and Boston is interesting to me, and I would like to hear more in future. I was at Kotar for nearly 2 months and have come over here. Now I am residing in the same house in which you lived. I have been here for a month and a half. Meanwhile, I went to visit Rameshwaram and stayed there for 4 days. The family of Balaram Basu is here with me. All are doing well here, except a lady of the same family who is suffering from etheric basanta. Is that right? And for you, I think I skipped something.
I think so.
Suffering from etheric.
Enteric fever.
Is that right, basanta?
No.
And for you also my blessings to all. What grief I have suffered due to the passing away of Babaram, Swami Premananda. What grief I have suffered due to the passing away of Babaram, Swami Premananda. The mother always called these boys, these men, these swamis, by their pre-monastic names, the names they came to Sri Ramakrishna with.
Brother Shankara,
the grief I have suffered due to the passing away of Babaram, Swami Premananda. Pressure of work, he can. I swear it's skipping pages.
Brother Shankara,
Yes.
Yes.
you skipped that thing.
Few lines. That's right, few lines.
Well, I don't know where they've gone. I clicked the next page and
You
Maybe
missed about.
I'm sure it says about Ramakrishnananda and the pressure of work. He cannot come here. I hope he will try to come when it is again possible. Convey my blessings to all the people living at the. It's just skipping.
Yes,
Yeah.
you
I
skipped
don't know
that
what
one.
the
Yes.
issue is.
Yeah, there are some lines or not read, almost 10 lines. Something happened.
What grief I have suffered due to the passing away of Babaram, Swami Premananda, I cannot convey in a letter. I am happy to know that Basanta's Paramananda's work is going on so well. I am sorry to hear that because of much pressure of work, he cannot come here. I hope he will try to come when it is again possible. Convey my blessings to all the people living at the monastery. May the Lord make you all his true children, is my prayer. Write to me about your own welfare. Write me from the one who blesses you. Mata
Takuru.
Takuram.
Thakurani.
Takuran. Okay. Letters to Swamis, Indian disciples, and devotees. Written in English on June 4th, 1917, in Jairambati, Amar, and Hooghly to Prabhu, later Swami Vireshwarnath. My dear Prabhu, your letter is at hand. I remember you, my darling, very well. I am very glad to hear that you have become a sadhu and taken brahmacharya from Rakal, my favorite son. If you remember, she says this in a number of occasions that Rakal was her son. She said, yes, they are all my sons, but Rakal is my son. I'm glad to hear that you have become a sadhu and taken brahmacharya from Rakal, my favorite son. You should not come to me now. Carry out the order of Rakal. I hope that you shall be able to come all such difficulties by his, Thakur's grace. Pray to him, and he will favor you. Pray to him, and he will favor you. Try to meditate yourself every day regularly, and you will progress gradually. Don't be downcast, my boy. I am very glad to hear that the new mutt at Madras has been opened. I hope that it will be completed well in time. I am well. I bless you affectionately. You should write to me whenever you want. Do not be sorry because you do not know Bengali. With blessings to you and all my sons of the Mat, your holy mother. P.S. You may write in English, but you may write in English, but write clearly. So we see that the mother is very involved with and attached to all these boys as they're becoming brahmacharis, sadhus, in the Ramakrishna order. She feels very close to them. Written on 7 May 1913 in Jairambati to Kimbar
Nishikumar. Kumar.
Ganguly of
Ibrahimpur. Ibrahimpur.
Okay. My dear son, I am very pleased to receive your letter. At present, I am doing fine. Pray to the Master. By his grace, your mind will gradually become pure. Does the mind become calm suddenly? Now, this is such potent instruction to us. First of all, pray to the Master. Ask for what you want. That's what she's saying. Ask for what you want. Ask the Master for what you want. By his grace, your mind will gradually become pure. Does the mind become calm suddenly? Many sages and rishis practice severe sadhana and austerities their whole lives. Still sometimes they fall from the spiritual path. So one should practice sadhana. The mind becomes pure and calm by crying to God with a longing heart. And this is Sri Ramakrishna's and Mother's constant refrain. So I'm going to repeat it. The mind becomes pure and calm by crying to God with a longing heart, asking to be part of that. Are the devotees of the Master equal, even though all of them receive his grace? One needs to practice sadhana. Please accept my blessings, your mother. So any thoughts or wisdom from your own experience? Any questions that you might want to ask based on what we've read so far?
It is very true, Shankaraji. If we deviate from this, meditation and all those things, we'll get carried away to so many other things.
Yes. We need to practice regularly every day so that the mind becomes steady. It's steadiness of mind that then promotes and brings on calmness of mind. When the mind is steady, we're able to practice regularly every day. Then, in time, as Mother says, does the mind become calm suddenly? No, it does not. But it will happen if you practice steadily, if you make your mind steady with the understanding that no matter how it seems today, in this moment, that somehow you are making progress. It's a waveform. Vivekananda brings it up again and again. It's a waveform. We go up and then we go down. And then we go up again and then we go down and up and so on. It is the nature of the gunas to promote that. But as the statisticians say, the trend line is upward. So the trend line will be a blessing to you if you're steady and practice your sadhana. And so are there any questions or comments about that? Anything else from anyone?
It's just that we have to practice, Brother Shankara. That's all I can say. She's totally right. And like Balakrishna ji said, she's right. And you're right. You're right. We just have to continue to do practice.
Yes.
Morning and evening, as much as we can.
As best we can.
Yes.
Yes.
Somebody sent me a small little clip today, very couple of words. Everything you need is already inside you. Don't wait for others to light your fire. You have your own matches. Good morning. That's what they say. Isn't that wonderful?
Yes, that's a combination of Vivekananda and Buddha.
Exactly. Exactly.
Yes.
Thank you.
Be a
Just
lamp unto yourself. Be a lamp
right.
unto yourself.
we have to fire matches are right inside us.
Yes. And all of the wisdom and the truth is already resident there because we are part of that infinite divinity. So written on 18 December 1913 in the Udbodhan office, Bug Bazaar, Calcutta, to Nishikanta Majmudar. I think that's right. Is it Majmudar?
Majmudar.
My dear son, I have received your letter. You have mentioned that the condition of your mind is bad. The mind is like a mad elephant. Control the restless mind by discrimination. Pray to the Master. Everyone experiences such condition of the mind. Oh, please note that, everyone. Don't feel bad about yourself when your mind behaves like a mad elephant. When you just don't seem to be able to control it this morning or this evening. Huh? Everyone, the mother says, experiences such condition of the mind. And she prefaces that by pray to the Master. It's a truth that Sri Ramakrishna says over and over. And of course, Christ was very clear about it. You get what you ask for. So when we ask for that calmness of mind, that blessed sinking into the silence that is the language of God, it happens. So the mother concludes, please accept my blessings, your mother. Written on 2 October 1916 in Calcutta to Kamala Bala Devi in, somebody say the name of that place.
Sadarpur.
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 Okay. My dear daughter, I learned from your letter everything about your present condition. When one assumes a human body, one has to undergo various kinds of sufferings. What can you do? This is the natural law of this world. I'm going to repeat that so that everyone is very clear that this is the mother's unqualified statement. When one assumes a human body, one has to undergo various kinds of sufferings. What can you do? This is the natural law of the world. The more a person lifts his mind from these worldly affairs and puts it in God, the more he attains peace. Real peace dawns when one becomes absorbed in chanting God's name. I'm going to repeat that. The more a person lifts his mind from these worldly affairs and puts it in God, the more he attains peace. Real peace dawns when one becomes absorbed in chanting God's name. Surrender to the Master and tell him all your difficulties. He will do everything favorable for you. Now, you've heard me say this, I don't know how many times during this class. This wasn't true just then. The Master is still with us in subtle form. Where? He's resident in your heart. As he says in the gospel, the heart is the drawing room of God. He says you may find the master anywhere on the master's estate, but you will usually find him in the drawing room, his drawing room. And the heart is the drawing room of God. So this is surrender to the master and tell him all of your difficulties. He will do everything favorable for you. Please accept my blessings, your mother. Written on 11 November 1916 in Calcutta to
a now unknown recipient.
a now unknown recipient. Thank you. My dear son, I am pleased to receive your letter. I have no opinion about your investiture of the sacred thread ceremony. It is good. It is a social affair. You decide what is good for you in this respect. If you are initiated into this ritual, you must repeat the Gayatri mantra. And if you think you would not be able to follow it properly, then don't get involved just because you wish to. First, repeat your Ishta mantra, and then, if you wish, repeat any other mantra. There is no fixed time for repeating japa, but the morning and evening are the best times. Every day, at any time, repeat your mantra. It is not good to skip daily sadhana. So this is a very potent letter. Any comments or questions about it? Anything about what she's saying that gives rise to a question for you, or a concern, or something that you'd like to add and comment?
I was listening to a lecture like a few days ago. It was talking about how if we don't do like spiritual daily practice, we will fall out of like the grace of the divine, so to speak.
Whose lecture was that?
I can't remember. It's called like Sat Yoga or something.
Well, I tell you, dear, it is not possible to fall from the grace of the divine. The Lord makes no demands on us. So I contradict what you heard in that lecture. And I contradict it based not only on my own experience, but from what Swami Vivekananda said, what the many saints in that Love Poems from God say. Anytime there is this threat, anytime there is this fear, you must do this because otherwise you will lose God's affection and grace. It is preposterous. God loves all his children. Love, who art partial to none, we are equal in thy sight. So do not believe that for a moment, Aaron. Do the spiritual practice because you want to progress, and ask the divine being, however you conceive of that divine being. Ask for that grace, ask for that assistance, ask for the strength and courage to do it, but never, never think that fear is a motivation. It is not a motivation. Has anyone else got anything to say about that?
I agree with you, Brother Shankara. That's my belief too. I totally agree with you.
Thank you. And the idea, thank you, Ima. The idea, these are tiny thoughts. These thoughts of fear and retribution. These are not the grand, fulfilling thoughts that are the truth. Anything that makes you afraid or small is wrong. As Vivekananda said, where there is fear, there cannot be love. Where there is love, there is no fear. So love the divine and practice as best you can. Never, ever thinking that there will be loss of affection, loss of relationship. It's us that walks away from the Lord, not the Lord from us. We may take a detour, but I'm glad you brought this up, Eric, because it's very important. And when the mother says it is not good to skip daily sadhana, she doesn't mean that there'll be retribution if you don't. It just means that you're walking away from what will give you progress. It's not that God will walk away from you. No.
Thank you, Brother Shankara.
Well, you're most welcome. Anything else about that or anything else?
Well, I think, if you look at the other also, especially our Vedas say, it is nothing but Sat Chit Ananda. Ananda is love. So the nature of God is love.
Yes, exactly. Unqualified and unconditional. Unqualified and unconditional. No condition that you must do this or must do that. Even the Catholics in their fierceness don't say that when you go to confession and you make contrition and you're given your penance, they don't say that God will withdraw his love from you or forgiveness from you if you don't do it. Your penance is for your benefit, not for God's benefit. God doesn't need anything from us. God does not need anything from us. Krishna makes this so explicit in chapter 5 of the Gita. He lacks for nothing. He does what he does, coming back again and again in various forms and guises at various times to give us a leg up when we want it, when we ask for it. When we turn to the Lord and the Lord becomes our refuge, then something truly magical happens. Something truly magical happens. All you have to do is look around you at the people in the world who don't have that as a refuge and think how different your life is. Anything else from anyone? I'm really glad we had this little discussion.
I think if you look at the Mahabharata,
Yes?
the Kamsa and Jarasandha, they both hate God left and right, but they still both were realized.
Yes?
God's compassion.
Yes?
As you are hating, that doesn't mean he doesn't love you.
No. And furthermore, what it means is you're constantly focusing on the object of your hatred.
Yes.
It is such a paradox that Ravana is saved
Yes.
and given what he so dearly wants, which is everything, because of his hatred of Rama.
Yes.
So yes, we the path is quicker by love, but even hatred will. Thank you, Bala. Anything else from anyone? Okay. Written on 19 March 1917 in Jairambati to, oh my goodness, somebody please say that name for me.
Manada Shankar Das Gupta.
Okay. My dear son, I learned everything about you from your letter and recognized you also. I learned everything about you from your letter and recognized you also. I am greatly concerned about your illness. If you wish, you can consult Dr. Durga Prasad Sen and use his medicine. His medicine is called Radu.
No, his medicine cured.
Oh, his medicine cured Radu. Thank you. His medicine cured Radu. Thank you, Bob. Try not to always think about your illness. Replace your japa and meditation. Reduce your japa and meditation for some days. Now, notice she doesn't say stop. As Swami Prabhavananda said, even when you're ill, you can do your japa. As you have mentioned, the number of japa, please repeat a minimum of 108 times. And if you can do more, that is well and good. If you have a keen desire to meditate on my form, do it, because there is no difference between me and the Master. The only difference exists between the two forms. The Master dwells inside my body. I hope everyone hears that. Ishwar is one. It becomes Ishwara and Ishwari as they take human form. There is no difference between them. There is no difference between me and the Master. The only difference exists between the two forms. The Master dwells inside my body. I bless you so that you may have unflinching devotion. I bless you that you may have unflinching devotion and faith at the feet of the Master, your mother. Once again, this is reassurance to us. Written on 17 August 1917 in Jairambati to Indradayal Bhattacharya, is that right?
Yes.
Later Swami Prameshananda. My dear son, I learned everything from your letter. The Master will bestow grace on you. I bless you so you may have unswerving, is that right? Unwavering, so that you may have unwavering devotion to the Master. I bless you so you may have unwavering devotion to the Master. Those who are coming to you will surely attain the Master's grace. The Master himself said that he who sincerely calls on him, even for a day, he will bestow grace on that person. The Master himself said that he who sincerely calls on him, even for a day, he will bestow grace on that person. Oh my God, what a promise. I bless you with a long life, your mother. What a blessing. I bless you with a long life. Written on 20 May 1918 in Bug Bazaar to some
Nalini.
Ghosh,
Yes.
an initiated disciple of the mother and the wife of Aurobindo Ghosh. My dear daughter, I am delighted to receive your letter and the fruit. I was doing well after arriving in Calcutta, but I have had a fever again for these last 2 days. Today I am better. I hope I will not get a temperature again. I received the news of Sudhira from Bhubaneswar. Please accept my blessings, your mother. Written in May 1918 in Calcutta to Kamala Bala Singupta in whatever that is. Sadarpur. My dear daughter, I am pleased to receive your letter. Always try to lose yourself in the name of the Master. Make an effort to see him in everything and every being in this world. Now that's a very potent instruction for us. Make an effort to see him in everything and every being in this world. As related in the Gospel, Sri Ramakrishna said toward the very end of his life, I see clearly, I am doing everything. I see clearly, I am doing everything. And around the same time, perhaps even on the same day, he said, I see there are two here, pointing to his body. The mother, who is the one doing everything, and her worshipper, that is to say, Vishnu. He who was Rama, he who was Krishna, is present here, he said, pointing to his body, as Ramakrishna. So I see two here, the mother and her worshipper. And then he said at the same time, approximately, I see clearly I am doing everything. So we have his assertion and mother's admonition, her reminder. Make an effort to see him in everything and every being in this world. Try to know that both good and bad are the results of your karma, which come from God. When you understand this, you will attain happiness and peace. So let's repeat that instruction. Try to know that both good and bad are the results of your karma, which comes from God. When you understand this, you will attain happiness and peace. I hope you are doing well. When we understand that karma does not come from the divine being that exists within us, it comes from God, the Satchidananda, as Balakrishna said earlier, and it is nothing more than the gunas attaching themselves to gunas, as Krishna says. Sri Krishna is very clear that we will experience karma as our own as long as we suffer from the delusion that we are separate, that we are the doer. When we get the idea through our heads and into our hearts that it is God alone that is the doer. And so this is what the mother is saying. Your karma comes from God. When you understand this, you will attain happiness and peace. I hope you are doing well. Please accept my blessings, your mother. Now, that's not the way we usually think. Does anyone have any comments from their own wisdom, from their own experience, or any questions or concerns about what the mother said?
Brother Shankara, can you expand or clarify further when you said the karma does not come from the divine within, but from Sachinananda?
Well, the Atman that is within us is, of course, part of that. But it isn't as if it is something being inflicted on us, both the bad and the good, by the divine within us. It is simply the operation of God's universe, which Swami Vivekananda explains so well in his talks on Jnana Yoga, that are published as Jnana Yoga, as he explains Maya. So it isn't personal. That's the idea. We seem to be a separate being with separate Atman. That is a delusion. So it's easy for us to think that our karma comes from some aspect of the divine within us. No. It comes from simply from that is the way the universe operates. And we are ancient beings. We exist from time out of mind. We were as creation dawned and became manifest. And so we've been having experiences ever since. But they're not created by us, as Krishna says so clearly in chapter 3. It is the gunas attaching themselves to gunas. That's what creates our karmas. And so it's not our individual, the seeming individuality of our Atman. I mean, the word Atman exists to express this sense of separation and individuality that we have. Although the assertion is, as you do your spiritual practice, you find that the Atman and Brahman are identical. But it is the operation of the universe according to the laws of karma that create your karma, not something individually resident within you. Does that clarify it, or is there still something?
No, that clarifies it nicely. Thank you.
Anything else? I'm so glad you asked that question, because that's, your karmas come from God, but they don't come from God like, here's a package from God, unwrap it, and there are your karmas. No, it's simply that. And this is why when we begin to occupy that witness position and begin to see everything that happens, so to speak, in our presence as simply the actions of God. Everything is God's doing, and every being is God as we are. then we begin to have peace. Then we begin to have true happiness, abiding peace, abiding happiness, because we're no longer torn this way, that way, this way, that way. Yes, this way, that way happens in our presence. No question about it. But the presence is the one presence that appears to be an individual. Anything else from anyone? Remember, this is why we're here, to discuss these things, not just to read about the mother's life and her letters and so on, but to do the manana. We are hearing these words of grace and love and wisdom from the mother. Now, we can go ahead with the manana and make it our own through contributing our own wisdom and experience and asking our questions as Swayam just did. Okay. Written on 31 August 1912 in Jairambati to Swami Vimalananda. Mayavati, yeah. See chapter 24 for the background of this letter. My dear son, I have received your letter. I cannot express in words how much pain I have been experiencing after the passing away of Vivekananda. He who is our Guru, Sri Ramakrishna, is an Advaitin, non-dualist. Since you are all his disciples, you too are Advaitins. I can emphatically say that you are definitely non-dualists. Please convey my love and blessings to Mrs. Sevier. Now, let's go over that again. This is to Swami Vimalananda. Okay? My dear son, I have received your letter, which evidently contained the news of Vivekananda's death. I cannot express in words how much pain I have been experiencing after the passing away of Vivekananda. Now, how can a non-dualist say this? Because they are one with that which has passed away. And it is something that is no longer present in the non-dual reality in which they're living. She loved Vivekananda. Even though Vivekananda said, "Oh, mother, by your mere wish, you could raise up thousands of Vivekanandas." She loved Vivekananda. Love is not a dualistic thing. Love is an expression of, as Balakrishna said earlier, of Satchidananda, the non-dual reality. So there's no contradiction. He who is our Guru, Sri Ramakrishna, as an Advaitin, non-dualist, since you are all his disciples, you too are Advaitins. I can emphatically say that you are definitely non-dualists. Please convey my love and blessings to Mrs. Sevier. Mrs. Sevier was helping with a number of things, including the establishment of Mayavati, which is where this letter was written. And it was written to the Swami there. I learned from Marilal's letter.
Matilal's?
Say it again, please.
Matilal's.
Matilal's letter that Kali Krishna, Vijnanananda, will go to Mayavati. Be careful as women live in the monastery. Yes, Mrs. Sevier and other women lived in that monastery. Be careful as women live in the monastery. The power of Swamiji is now absent there. We are doing well. Write to me with all news of Mayavati. All of you accept my blessings, your mother. Now, the establishment of Mayavati is very interesting. Vivekananda said there should be a place where non-dualism was practiced 100%. No rituals, no images. It was very hard to maintain that, partially because Vivekananda wasn't there to insist on it. But as harking back to what Aaron asked, it isn't as if anyone lost the love of the master or the mother because their heart yearned for image worship or ritual. It's just that Swamiji said there should be a place where it is absent. And so that's why Mayavati in the foothills of the Himalayas was established. And Mr. and Mrs. Sevier, I think he had some title, I don't remember what it was. A military rank or something. In any event, they were very helpful in not only logistically, but also financially with establishing Mayavati. How are we doing for time? Okay, we've got time for a letter or two more. Written in April 1909 in Jairamati to Mahendranath Gupta, M, the man who was Sri Ramakrishna's instrument to create the gospel of Sri Ramakrishna. And Sri Ramakrishna said that directly. So written to from Jairamati to Mahendranath Gupta, who lived in Kolkata. My dear son, I just received your letter. I am concerned about Charu, is that it?
Yeah.
Charu's, M's youngest son's illness. I pray to the Master for his quick recovery. I am a little relieved that you have arranged for good treatment for him and sent him to Puri for a change. May the Lord make him well. I don't think he did recover, actually. Sri Sri Katamrita, the Gospel of Sri Ramakrishna, consists of the words of the Master. You did a great service to humanity by publishing that book. Your plan for the future publication and arrangement of the book is very good. May the Master fulfill your noble intention. All are well here. Please accept my blessings, your mother. Now here's something to know. Sri Ramakrishna left the body in mid-August 1886. It was some years, I've forgotten how many, 7, 10, something like that, before M began to organize his diary and the notes that he made of what Sri Ramakrishna said into what became the Sri Sri Katamrita, the Gospel of Sri Ramakrishna. What is so interesting to know is that the Master himself participated in the creation of that book. He would come to M as M was working on it, and the Master would actually correct him or amplify some of the things that were there. He would say, no, no, I said it this way. Or he would add to something that was there. So the Gospel of Sri Ramakrishna cannot be taken seriously enough by any of us who are spiritual aspirants, following the Master's path. It is the deliberate creation of Sri Ramakrishna himself, with M as his instrument. It is the deliberate creation of the Master himself to pass along his instructions to us. And so when the mother is complimenting M here, that's the subtext. That's what's between the lines. Because the Master, of course, living within the mother, she knew of the Master's involvement. Okay, it's 8:57. We won't take up another letter. I do have a few words to say about the health of this body. I was hoping that August, the respite in August, would restore energy. In fact, just the opposite happened. My health declined. There was greater congestive heart failure in August. So just last week, I was at Emory St. Joseph's Hospital for a heart catheterization, in which my cardiologist looked at the heart and discovered, and he was just radiant when he told me this, that the grafts that were done in April of 2015 are completely open, running completely open and free. So that's not the difficulty. The difficulty has to do with atrial fibrillation and asynchronous heartbeat. And so this Thursday, day after tomorrow, I'm seeing the cardiologist who's responsible for these implants. And the discussion will be about doing a kind of open heart surgery where they go through the rib cage rather than cracking open your chest, going through the rib cage. And that will give him access to the back of the heart, where he will be able to put in the kind of pacemaker that he wanted to put in before, which it's a so-called 3-wire device. It has wires that connect to each ventricle, and one wire that does what this device does. This is essentially a passive device, a rescue device. If something bad happens to my heart, this will attempt to rescue it, full defibrillation or slow heartbeat or too rapid heartbeat, so on. But this one will be replaced with the 3-wire machine. And he will also do some sort of adjustment to the atria, to the nervous system's connections to the atria. There's a technical term for it that I don't recall. So on Thursday, I'll have that discussion with him, and in all likelihood, the procedure will be scheduled. And I'm on their list. By their, I mean, I'm with Kaiser. And so they have me on their list regarding these things as #1 highest priority. So it's very likely that this open heart procedure will be done before the end of this month. It's not certain, but I'll know on Thursday. And of course, I'll let you know. Now, because I live alone and need to take care of myself mostly, I mean, people do help me, of course, but most of the time, for most routine things, I take care of myself. So there will be a period after the hospitalization where I'll be in a skilled nursing facility. And working with Cindy, I will arrange for other swamis, I'm not a swami, but other sadhus, to speak. I'm not certain what we'll do about the classes, but at least the Sunday talks will continue, even if I'm away for 10 days or so. So, having said all that, are there any questions or comments about all that?
Namaste, Brother Shankara. Namaste, everybody.
Namaste.
Very sorry to know about your health situation, brother. I mean, I'm shocked, kind of. Open heart surgery is, it's what it is. I mean, I don't know. I've not seen anyone near me, but from what you have said, my best wishes to you, and hope Thakur and Mother, by their grace.
All I've said to Thakur Ma is that if you want me to continue this work, which I am joyously happy to continue doing, then just fix me up. Just give me some more energy. Yeah, do what's necessary to fix me up. And certainly I have very, very highly qualified doctors that are doing their best to do exactly that. So I talk about it with Thakur Ma on a regular basis. And as the mother said, I've just asked for what I want. Fix me or let me go.
If you can update the board a little bit, if you wish to, in whatever way, and in whatever way, if you would like the board to contribute or plan when you are in the facility or do something. And like you said, you are going to arrange for someone to talk. But if the board would like to step in, if you would like the board to step in and contribute, we are there definitely.
Thank you. My intention, Shailesh, and thank you for saying that. My intention was to let the board know after Thursday when there'll be something
absolutely
definitive.
I understand.
The rest of this is all just plans and aspirations. But it looks like it will go forward. Thank you for that. And I certainly will if there's anything that I think will be instrumental. I will definitely bring it to the board's attention.
because planning and taking all this responsibility by yourself is quite challenging, especially in such situation. I know you carry it all the time, but if you have something, we are definitely there to step in.
Well, thank you. I have the near and dear that help me on a as needed basis and also on a weekly basis. And so I've been discussing this with them. And but I will clearly I will do what you've asked, Shailesh. If there's something that I think is needed, I won't hesitate to ask. Anything else from anyone?
Shankaraji, I'm here. For anything, please just let me know.
Oh, thank you,
I'm
Balakrishna
the
ji.
closest from the center, so I could do whatever you ask me to do.
Thank you, dear. And I will. That is duly noted and will be acted upon. But I don't think that this time it'll be like it was when I came back from the
other open
heart
surgery.
surgery.
So this,
I don't think the recovery will be as long, and I have coverage under my plan, my Kaiser plan, for up to 20 days at no cost at all. And I don't even think it'll take that long. This is a different kind of open heart procedure, which I'm sure you know far more about than I do.
so he's doing it like a minimal invasive surgery.
Say it again, please, dear.
He's going to be doing like a minimal invasive surgery.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. But, he was frustrated the first time
Yeah,
because
you could not
going
do it.
in the way they went the first time, they weren't able to reach the part of the heart that they needed to reach to attach these other leads.
Yes.
And that was done in May 28th.
Yes.
That's why in August, from May on, actually, things got slowly just a little worse and a little worse. It's not unmanageable, clearly. Otherwise, I wouldn't be sitting here and you wouldn't be there. But it's minimally invasive, yes. So, but I will be able to stay in a skilled nursing facility until I'm able to come back home and take care of myself. But anything that needs done, I will ask.
Okay.
Either the board or yourself personally.
Okay, Shankaraji.
And thank you both for offering. For those of you who don't know, Shailesh is the president of our board, and Balakrishna is a longtime member of our board. So these are two stalwarts here. So anything else?
We pray for your well-being and coming back, Brother Shankara, and I hope that will manifest. Whatever we pray, that should manifest, right?
I can't imagine why the master and mother would want this to end, but I don't. I'm not in charge. I mean, if Sri Ramakrishna says anything at all in the gospel, and of course he says much, but the thing that he says over and over and over is God alone is the doer. And so that's exactly what Krishna says too. God alone is the doer. So
We wish you well.
this is the
Definitely.
instrument. As Sri Ramakrishna would say to the Divine Mother, this is thy machine, thou art the operator. So we'll just take it one day at a time. But I didn't want this to come as a surprise to anyone, so that's why I'm saying something about it. And I will write something to the board on Thursday afternoon or Friday morning, Shailesh, letting you all know exactly what to expect, as best I understand it at that time.
So we pray to Mother and Thakur and everybody that you come back like a fully tuned up Rolls Royce, Brother Shankara.
Wouldn't that be grand?
Right.
Yeah, it would be nice to have a synchronous heartbeat and have the atria not interfering with the operation of the heart. All those, as I understand it, are what's necessary. So we'll close with this. Oh, dearly beloved, let there be peace in outer space. Let there be peace in the sky, on the earth, and in the water. Let there be peace in the herbs, the plants, and the trees. May the gods be peaceful. May the whole universe be pervaded by peace. Let that infinite universal peace prevail throughout my being. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Peace, peace. Peace be unto us and to all beings everywhere. Jai Shri Guru Maharaj Ji Ki Jai. Durga Durga Durga. May you be safe. May you be healthy. May you be cheerful. May you have peace of mind. May you go forward in the loving and protective embrace of the Divine Being as our Mother and Father. So,
Thank you.
until tomorrow night, for those of you who wish to join us for the Jnana Yoga class, and then I don't think anything is going to happen before Saturday or Sunday. So Saturday, of course, we'll do the Realizing God class. And then on Sunday, it's Waking from Maya's Spell Part 2, because we only got, so to speak, halfway through that discussion on this Sunday. It's quite a topic, waking from Maya's spell. So that's, and you'll notice if you look on the website that there is not a September calendar been posted, and it's because of the uncertainty of what will happen. But I'm reasonably certain that when I go see the doctor on Thursday, they're not going to clap me right in the hospital. So Saturday and Sunday we'll go ahead, and then I'll let everyone know what's what.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Good night, dear ones.
Thank everybody.
Look forward to seeing you again soon. And as always, this is such a delight.
Shankaraji, where is St. Mary's Hospital?
Oh no, not St. Mary's. And Dr. The electrician, as he's called, Dr. Pandya, my cardiologist, he works out of St. Joseph's. St. Joseph's, and that's next to North Side, up on that part of town. But Dr. Iravanian, the electrician, as they call him, he works out of Emory Midtown Hospital. And so it looks like that's where, that isn't where I meet with him on Thursday. I meet with him in his office in their Glen Lake Center, Kaiser's Glen Lake Center in Sandy Springs. But the further procedure, I'm reasonably certain will be done at Emory Midtown. But I'll tell everybody about that as soon as I know for sure.
Okay.
That's where he did this procedure.
Okay.
Kaiser doesn't have their own hospitals, but they've contracted with Emory for use of their hospital facilities. And they have their own staff in abundance. Like when I just went in for this catheterization, they kept me overnight, not because there was any emergency, but because they wanted to drain more water out of my system and take some pressure off my heart. And so they did one of those routines of putting me on that
Yeah.
Lasix every however many hours it was. And I definitely pushed a lot of water on them. So
Mm.
it's they know what they're doing. And they had a wonderful staff there at Emory St. Joseph's. Just a wonderful staff. I mean, I'm going to mention it to Dr. Iravanian when I see him on Thursday. So anything else from anyone before we say goodnight?
Thank you.
All right, dears. Good night, good night.
Good
Good
night.
night. Good night.
Night.
And
Wish you
until
well.
next time. Good night, Trina.
Good night, sir.
You will be in our prayers.
Thank you, dears.